Hello, everybody in Twitch land. That's here in Twitch land. Oh my god! Hi, everybody. Welcome to Slash Yell, the MMO show. This is the wonderful show here on QueueTimes' Twitch channel where we talk to you about MMO news, so that you don't have to talk about it. Yep, that's right. We expect you to not discuss any of the things that we're going to discuss here today with anyone ever. So we're here to talk about MMO news, like we do in all of our shows. Before we do that, we're going to discuss how our weeks were. Indigo, how was your week, buddy?
My week was pretty good. I played some Pathfinder this morning. We recorded our first episode of Pyros and Pacifists, and so that was really fun. I like messing with my my players because I'm DMing. And I went around the park and played a bunch around at the park yesterday because I was forced to hang out outside. But I've been playing a lot of a game that I've given a lot of shit to in the past. I've been playing a lot of SEO. So ESO.
Oh.
ESO. Elder Scrolls Online.
Nice. That's cool.
I've been playing a bunch of that. I've been playing with you, and Adarok has joined us as well and has been playing with us. It's fun. I like it. I definitely didn't give it. There's been a lot of changes since when I played, so I don't want to say I didn't give it a good enough try. I want to say that the improvements and changes that they made, I like. I don't know if I'm like as enthralled with it as I was with WildStar because there are still some serious issues when we play, like not like bug issues, but like when both you and Adarok play, it's constantly I don't know what to do. Where am I supposed to go? I don't know what's going on. And so I don't think that there's enough clear explanation of what you're supposed to be doing. So I'm not having that problem because I'm a brain dead player where I see arrow, I go to arrow.
Right.
And just do the thing I need to do. Is like, that's
a
friendly character. Just talk to them. Oh, it's a bad character. Kill them. Like,
no, you go to an arrow, and then if it's a quest that has like an arrow over a specific character, you interact with that character.
Yep.
If it's an arrow in like an area, so it defines like an area of a quest, you'll kill things in that area until you realize that you're not progressing in the quest, and then you'll be like, oh, I must have to do something else.
I'm just saying, I'm a higher level than you are.
Well, shut your dirty mouth. That's all I have to say about that. My week was pretty good. We, Indigo and I, and some of our friends got to go out into the real world and play with some real toys out in a park somewhere. We went on a picnic. It was really fun. We got to play some badminton. It was really great. I was exhausted because I'm a little bitch who sits on his computer all day, whether I'm at work or at home. And so I realized that I have to fix that in my life for like the 100th time. I've also been playing a bunch of ESO. That's my new MMO because I love the combat system. It's so close to WildStar's.
Well, I mean,
it is. It has the enemies have telegraphs on the ground that you have to avoid. You can interrupt them when they're using telegraph abilities and they get stunned. Like that concept exists in ESO. And honestly, I didn't know that until I started playing it recently. It's fun. And there's a healing class that I can play, and I love healing in MMOs, and it's just a good time. I'm glad we got back into that game. Well, I'm glad you got me into that game when you got back into that game. That having been said, it's unfortunate timing because Overwatch exists. So it's kind of hard to like, well, do I play this MMO or do I hop into Overwatch? Like, I'd say 70 to 80% of the time, I'm like, yeah, let's go into Overwatch. Like,
yeah, especially if all three of us are on, we're like, it's definitely Overwatch time.
Yep. So that having been said, we're going to move into Slash Zone.
Yes. You said it super confused.
I was super confused. Move into Slash Zone. Slash Zone is the segment of the show where we talk about MMOs that exist currently that you can go out and play right now. We're talking about news for those games. First of all, we're going to talk about Black Desert. So in Black Desert, I think it was 2 episodes ago on Slash Yell, we talked about how the devs for Black Desert released a manual for sieges, which is a new feature that they're going to implement, that they have implemented since. And we were all really excited about the feature. Unfortunately, it's kind of been plagued with a little bit of bugginess. And so what they've decided to do is they've decided to kind of cancel that whole part of the game until they fix the bugs. And the bugs are kind of game breaking. One of them prevents towers from receiving damage, which is like, yo, I can't do damage to this objective, so how do I win? Like, hello, what's going on? And the other prevents guilds from building towers in a specific amount of time. So it's like, okay, you can't like construct defenses, and if there are defenses that exist, you can't destroy them. sometimes, that's kind of game breaking, right? Like,
Yeah.
that'd be like, oh, hey, we're going to release this game. Oh, but WASD doesn't work. So, oops. Sorry, guys. Like, it's pretty fucking detrimental. So there was a region siege war last Saturday, and after that, and by last Saturday I mean yesterday, after that they'll be postponing further sieges until they have a patch to correct the problems. Obviously, we're going to be following them very closely as far as whether or not they fix the problems, or how long it takes them to fix the problems, because I think that's, first of all, really big of them to pull that out and say, like, hey, these games suck because of these bugs that we let out. We're going to stop. We're not going to let this happen anymore. We're going to bring it back. We're going to fix problems, and we're going to put it back out in the world again.
And I'm super curious about that, because theoretically all of this content has come out already and has already gone through the bug fixes and gone all through that. I wonder what regional changes that they've made that has underlining effects that would cause this to.
I'm really curious about that too, because for those of you that don't know, Black Desert has been out for a while in the East. So it's kind of strange to think that, like, all they've been doing, and what I assume they've been doing, is localizing the game. So basically taking all, like, any VO or any text in the game and translating it, which is what localizing means. I don't understand how that process can affect this. So they must be doing something else, right? Like, that's the only conclusion I can come up with.
I think so. I think so as well, because some of the patch fixes that we've read in the past have been like, this character does X amount of damage, and so it's not the correct amount, and blah blah. So there's clearly something else that they're doing regionally. Like, maybe they're like retrofitting like current builds with older version of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
because I mean, well, it's hard to, like, really know. So the reason I kind of stopped was because it's like, think about WoW. WoW doesn't even keep old versions of the game. So either they didn't keep old versions of the game and they're kind of like peeling back layers somehow, and that's kind of where the bugs are coming from, or they did keep old versions of the game that they're just localizing, and then I'm super confused as to why they're having this problem to begin with, you know? And if they were keeping old versions of the game, you'd think they'd know what they were going to do with them, so they can like, they had all this time to, like, do that correctly. And they didn't do it correctly, apparently.
Well, I still think that it's probably going to be region specific with some patches, because it's kind of like, we kind of talked about this on Quarter Up before this, where PlayStation and Xbox are getting a nerf for Torbjorn, but the PC isn't, because of how the game behaves on the PlayStation.
Yeah, how players have extra control because they're using a mouse.
Exactly. So I'm curious if region based, like locally, like some people in the US are playing characters much more differently than people were originally with these classes, or maybe because they've done their releases in a different order, like they're releasing different characters before they release expansions.
I wouldn't know. I didn't follow it when it was not in the US, you know. So that's an interesting question. Maybe we can ask them, like, what's going on.
Just like hit them up, like, hey, without sounding like a douche, be like, hey man, how can you have these fucked up bugs?
How would you say that without sounding like a giant asshole? Like, hey, didn't you do this once already? Like, what's the problem here? Maybe it's server side. Maybe it's something in, like, okay, so they must have had a different, like, server environment because they're in a different location. Maybe the bugs are, like, in the like netcode or something, because that would have to be different. Maybe that doesn't have to be different. Maybe it is different because they're using a different provider. All right, that's where I'm at with that. I'm talking netcode. That's where we're going with this show now. So Black Desert, if you were looking forward to Sieges, you have to wait a little bit longer to get it in, like, an actual working form that can be fun for people. But it's coming, so don't freak out, or maybe freak out a little bit. I don't know why I'm always more, like, lenient with games when they do stuff like this, when they admit, like, yeah, we fucked up, we're gonna undo the thing we did and then give it back to you when it's actually ready. I'm way more likely to be like, good job, guys, instead of like, you're a bunch of fucking morons.
Yeah.
But whatever. You want to talk about another costume design contest, buddy? I know how much you loved the last one.
No, not really. I'm just gonna sit here and eat my peach.
That's a gross sound. Please don't. I'm gonna eat my peach. Anyways, Blade and Soul costume design contest is going on right now while Indigo yawns at this very moment. There are going to be winners announced on August 5th. So between now and August 5th, the design submission has to contain a front and back view of a costume, and one of the following race, gender, model options must be used. So either one male and one female of the same race, or you just dropped your peach on your lap. How does that make you feel? You fucking clumsy little shit. Or one gender-specific model shown for each race, or all races and all genders represented. So you can either do one for each gender or one for each race, or both. The prizes are: one grand prize winner will receive their design made into a costume with a personalized tooltip signature. So you can like get your little name on that costume when somebody's wearing it and they mouse over it. You can see your little name.
Character name or real life name?
It didn't say. It actually says personalized tooltip. So I'm wondering if they're going to let you like upload a PNG, just like draw a picture of a cock and have that be like,
I was going to say, yeah, like, could you please put Cock Muncher as the creator of that?
Can you just put the Brazzers logo down there? That'd be great. I don't think they'll let you do that. I think it's going to be text and it's going to probably be your in-game name, but we'll see. Their costume. So you're going to get a copy of the costume that you create once it's implemented in the game. This is good. You're going to get $100 worth of Hongmoon coin. That's 8,000 Hongmoon coin. So they're not going to give you $100. They're going to give you $100 to their store, which is basically like not giving you anything from their perspective. And you're going to get a bamboo costume and a bamboo familiar set, which is just some random other piece of goodness that they threw in to incentivize people to participate. And then 10 finalists will receive $50 of Hongmoon coin, which is 4,000 Hongmoon coin, and the bamboo costume and familiar set, which is cool. I think this is way better than the other contest we were reading about. Well, okay, let me start over. I was reading through the costume post, and I was like, the contest post, and I was like, oh, this is way better than the last contest we talked about, because that contest was like, well, we're gonna give one person the grand prize, and they're gonna get their costume put in the game, but we reserve the right to use every single piece and put every single thing we reserve into the game. And I was like, really?
And not give you anything
for it. Like, oh, that's kind of shady. So I was reading through this and I didn't see any of that, and I was like, all right, cool, this is pretty great. Like, they're giving people a copy of the costume, which is good. They're giving people like a real value prize of Hongmoon coin and like other cosmetic things and stuff. That's great. That's cool. And I get to the bottom and it said read here for full terms and conditions, and I click on it and it's a 14-page PDF.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it's legal mumbo jumbo. Like, and I'm almost positive I did not read it, because fuck you guys. Like, I'm all for researching stuff, but I'm not going through that legal garbage. It's mind numbing to me. I'm almost positive that in there you will find something that says we're allowed to use whatever we want for whatever we want, whenever we want. When you submit it becomes our property, like blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
So
just the ideas you have while working on this are also ours.
Whatever you say while playing our game is also our property. Whatever you do while thinking about our game is our property. Blah, 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 blah. So anyways, if you want to do that, check it out. They had some examples of entries on the post, and they looked very, very good. So I am not going to enter, because I cannot pull that off. Like, at all. Are you going to enter?
I'm not going to, because I have zero interest.
Oh, okay. Well, that's you. Good.
Because one, I'm not a big fan of Blade and Soul.
Right.
And two, I can't draw costumes.
Right. You have a Wacom thing, don't you?
Yeah, I can. No, I can draw. It's not that. It's just why spend the time doing that? And where I get a total of $50 of in-game currency in a game I don't play.
Because that's a lot of money. It's more than zero. Anyways, if you're interested, if you're a good artist, enter. Let us know that you won, and we'll give you a thumbs up and a shout out on the stream. The Division is going through...
Which is an MMO. I still want people to remember that.
Which Indigo thinks is an MMO. In Indigo's personal opinion, The Division is an MMO.
Still talking about it on the MMO show.
Yep. Well, it's really easy to concede when you are very vehement about something that I don't give a fuck about at all. The Division. We're talking about The Division. They're making some weapon balance changes. I was reading through this, and it was kind of like a little confusing to me as far as like why the weapon balance is where it is. So let's get started with it, and we can kind of explain as we go. So currently, the meta in The Division revolves around a combination of an SMG with a marksman rifle. The SMG is unmatched in close range damage. Like shotgun, no, nothing else comes close to SMG in close. Just the sheer damage per bullet and the bullets per second is just bananas. And the marksman rifle is obviously king of long range because everything else's bullet spread is way too big to be used at long range, right? Obviously, you can hit with a pistol, but the pistol's damage is nothing, so it doesn't make a difference. It's all about
and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I want to say, where we were talking about how they were trying to make some balance changes where they were going to be able to see differences. Oh my God, you're going to hate yourself.
Why?
You didn't hit record on Zencaster.
Oh, I'll make it work.
Anyways, so so they were talking about this a while ago about how they were going to make these changes, and they were trying to figure out a way to go about them, and these are the changes.
Yeah. I do remember that. I think I do remember that. So, this is what they're gonna do to supposedly solve these problems and kind of make the rest of the weapon sets a little more viable. They're going to add unique bonuses to each weapon family. So that's not currently the case. Like some weapons have their unique bonuses. Like they can do something specific to that weapon that makes that weapon better. Like for example, one of the new weapon bonuses that they're going to be adding is for the shotgun. And it is if the lower the clip is in your shotgun, the more accurate your shotgun is. So like that wouldn't be super useful for a sniper rifle, for example, because you have the utmost of accuracy already. Like that little extra bit of accuracy isn't going to help anybody but the most like amazing player in the world. With a shotgun, that's super useful because the most amazing player in the world isn't going to be able to contend with the 40-degree bullet spread, you know? So the fact that each weapon didn't have its own specific useful like features is baffling to me. Like I don't understand why that wasn't the case from the beginning. But anyways, that's the thing that confused me the most. So they're going to change that. They're going to add unique bonuses to each weapon family. They're going to increase the shotgun damage output overall because apparently shotguns are just garbage right now. So they're just going to fucking buff their numbers. Yeah,
they're horrible. There was no point of having a shotgun,
right?
Because you had to wait until they got super close to you, which means you either were using like a marksman shooting far away, and then you went, oh crap, someone's really close, and then you had to switch weapon and then try to fire before they killed you at that time. Right. Like it just made no sense.
Shotguns were really only useful. Like the only situation in which I can think the shotgun was useful was for surprising someone. Like if you're running up behind them and they don't hear you, and then you shoot them in the back of the head. Like,
yeah, but why do that when I could just
kill them with an SMG? Just kill them from long range? Like,
yeah,
I don't understand. Anyways, they're trying to make shotguns the king of its situation, which shotgun should always be the king of close range combat, right? Like SMGs, automatic weapons should be the king of medium range. Assault rifles should be the king of medium to long range. Sniper rifles should be the king of long range. Pistol should be the king of amount of ammo. So on and so forth. Like they all have their niche, and the fact that the shotgun wasn't sitting in its niche correctly is something they're trying to fix. They're gonna decrease the damage of the AUG and the Vector, which are two. I think they're SMGs. They're either SMGs or marksman rifles. I don't remember. The names escape me completely, but the post has correct information on what those actually are, because those are the two like best in slot, regardless of what you're doing, kind of weapons. You know what I mean? So they're trying to make them a little less attractive so that the rest of the options kind of shine through. They're making adjustments to the M1A, which is the most popular assault rifle. They're introducing new weapons altogether, so they're trying to shake up the meta by just putting more options out there. They're going to add the ability to reroll talents on weapons, which I don't think this necessarily helps with the problem they described of the meta being set in stone. But I do think it's a good convenience factor. Like you don't have to spend a whole fuck ton of time searching for the specific weapon with the specific traits that you want. And they're making changes to special ammo. That's not everything that they talked about. If you want to see a list of a bunch of the unique bonuses they're adding and a bunch of other stuff like into specifics, you can click the link. There's a lot of information. We obviously can't go over all of it in this podcast, or else we would be here for like 3 hours instead of just one. But go ahead, click the link on our show notes if you need a link. It's in every description, whether it's a podcast or a video or whatever. QueueTimes.com. Go check it out. Destiny? I don't know anything about Destiny.
Okay, so what they're doing is
which is also apparently an MMO, by the way,
yes, it
according to
is.
Indigo.
Oh my god. Anyways, so Destiny, what they're doing right now is they're kind of pulling away from what they've been doing. So right now, currently, as player progression goes on, whether you're on Xbox One or Xbox 360, while you play, your player progression is the same. So if, like, say tomorrow you buy a Xbox One and you've been playing on the 360 the whole time, your characters are the same in progression, are fine. Well, what's happening now is they're actually starting September going to start splitting that progression, which means that if you're playing on the Xbox 360 and you buy an Xbox One, you can forward your information over to that Xbox One and everything is cool beans, everything's great.
Right.
But the second you go back to your Xbox 360, you will no longer, your player progression will be where you uploaded last. They will not be tracking together. So if you've got friends on Xbox One and you're playing there, and you have a friend that wants to play and they're still on the 360, then you have to turn around and play on your Xbox 360 and play at the lower player progression. Also, any XP that you gain while going back to the Xbox 360 will not be forwarded on to your Xbox One.
But it's the same game world, right? Like,
no,
it's not.
So if I have a 360 and you have a one, and we both go on to Destiny,
we can't
cannot
play together. Wow. Is that a thing on all Xbox One titles?
Well, this is what's happening in September.
So it's the same world now?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know
I don't
that
have an Xbox.
In September we will find out. Or actually, really, I could do some research and figure it out as well. But here's the other thing: is they're also going to soon stop the in-game purchases on the older consoles as well. So in-game money and in world money or real world money, you will not be able to buy things. Yeah.
The fuck is up with this? I don't.
Yeah.
Are they trying to like not support those consoles anymore?
They're pushing them to move over to the new consoles.
But that's super fucking shady.
Because that's happening with the PlayStation 3 as well as the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I understand that. And I think the reason they're doing it with PlayStation as well as Xbox is because if they just did it with Xbox so that people would buy a new Xbox, people would be like, yo, foul, that's not cool.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're doing it with both, like, it's kind of a little more kosher. I don't think this is kosher, though. Like, they're basically removing support for older consoles, but that's what people bought the game on. Like, you can't just say, hey, this game that is the same exact game is going to stop working on this old console and start working on this new console. That seems shitty as hell to me. That's something you do with a new release. That's something you do with Destiny 2.
I mean, you have to understand there is a new expansion coming out.
Yeah, but that's not Destiny 2.
No, it's not Destiny 2. It's
DLC
Rise of Iron expansion. It's an expansion. They're not calling it DLC. It's an expansion because it's a very large change apparently.
That super scares me. That sets a really kind of scary precedent, you know?
Mm-hmm. And did I say September that
did.
This changes? I'm sorry. This change is happening August.
August, right?
So sorry.
I forgive you.
Also, their weekly events, Iron Banner, and events like the Valentine's Day themed Crimson Day or the Sparrow Racing League will also no longer happen.
What? They're fucking those people so hard. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't see how this is not shady as fuck. This is so weird.
Yep. I think what they're doing is they're saying we have to focus our attention on one platform or the other, and they're sticking to the newer platform.
You did not write all of this in our show notes.
What?
All of this information?
No.
You just wrote, players playing on PS3 or PS4 will now see their progression split on two parallel paths. Same with purchases with in-game or real-world money. You didn't even say that there's that's why.
I didn't say what?
That PS3 won't support in-game after a while. PS3 and Xbox 360.
That's because I went back into the article and I saw that part while we were talking. I didn't see it originally, and then I just reread it.
Yeah,
so.
you just want me to sound dumb. I get it. Yep, whatever.
Duh.
That is insane. Well, okay. I'm glad I don't own a console. That's my personal opinion. Nobody's ever going to tell me that I have to upgrade my PC in order to play a game. I swear to God, if somebody starts coming out with like graphics card checks, like, oh, hey, we're not going to support this graphics card anymore. Go buy a 1080. La, la,
Oh,
la.
there would be fucking riots.
I would riot. I would riot in the streets until the cows come home.
Yeah, well, and I mean, mind you, I do like the fact that they're stopping the in-game currency purchases, because they're saying, hey, look, if you're going to spend money, you're not going to get this if you ever upgrade. So we're just taking this option out, so you're not wasting your money.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
Just let people get it if they upgrade. Like, okay, whatever. I'm not okay with this.
Well, hey,
okay with
I and as someone that is only looking from the outside of the gaming industry in,
Sure.
I mean, and trying to give them the benefit about a doubt. Maybe it's because the future expansions that they have are going to be Xbox One and PlayStation 4 specific content updates, that they have to let go of those the lower consoles to further progress the direction that they need to go.
I guess if I look at it in a different way, it's kind of like you don't have to pay full box price anymore. Like if they just keep updating this game and losing support for older consoles, it's probably saving people money in the long run if they wanted to upgrade to the newest generation anyways. But for the people who don't want to upgrade, it's kind of a dick in the butt.
Well, I mean, you've always got those people who don't want to upgrade to the next console, and they get super upset about having to do it. But I mean, that's the console world. That's how the console system continues to go. So if you don't like it, join the PC Master Race.
The conclusion we come to is join the PC Master Race.
If you don't like it, get over it and join the team that doesn't have to do that.
Right?
Like, I mean,
yet.
I mean,
Hopefully
as the Xbox and the PlayStation get closer and closer and closer to PCs, you know, we're going to start getting that. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to start getting the, oh, well, you have to have the, you know, T1000 tower, or, you know, your SOL.
What if it did that? What if it checked your case? Like, you must use this specific case in order to play this video game. Beep, boop, boop.
Nope, I'm good.
I would not play video games anymore, to be completely honest. I would not. I'd play cell phone games. That'd be what I do.
Well, hey, good thing you just mentioned cell phone game. There's a new Gordon Ramsay cell phone game.
Shut your mouth about that. We are not talking about that on this show ever. I will edit this out of the podcast. It's going to say, there's a new game on. Are you done being a dick?
Yeah.
Why did you put this days till... Okay, we're moving on to the next thing. We're not talking about Destiny anymore. We're talking about WoW. Why did you put this in here?
Okay, so this is great. This is the only piece of WoW news that I could find, which is a counter to when Legion comes out.
Wow. What hard-hitting stuff you found. This is great, dude.
I legitimately looked for WoW news, and hey, look, remember what happened when we looked at patch notes last week for World of Warcraft?
Yes, it was like,
I'm fixing this one thing.
Yeah.
And even on the live stream that they had, they're like, yeah, everyone's actually just working on Legion now. Like, everyone stopped Draenor. Like, no one fucking cares about that game anymore. So I figure I would give you guys
caring about that game as well.
I would give you the information that you need, which is there is 64 days, 6 hours, 31 minutes, and 22 seconds until the game comes out.
Correct. As of this recording. Which is not when you're listening to it if you're not on Twitch TV.
Yeah.
So that information's wrong. If you want the actual up-to-date clock on your browser, you can bookmark it if you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can check it out in our show notes at QueueTimes.com.
I like the top left corner. It says, "Are we there yet?"
Yeah, that's the name of the site, because you can make a bunch of different clocks. I can make a new clock. I'm gonna make a clock right now. No, I'm not. That takes
until next episode of Quarter Up.
Ooh, that's a good idea. You could put it in every episode. Ooh.
But that is our week's news for Zone.
Yeah, that's it. That's the games. Those are the games. There wasn't a bunch today.
Yeah, we tried to... Normally we cover games like WildStar. We cover Elder Scrolls Online. Mm-hmm. We cover...
Neverwinter Online.
Neverwinter Online. But, you know,
Final
one
Fantasy.
of the big... Yeah, one of the big things that we've always promised ourselves is that when we do report stuff, we're not going to report stuff like, hey, there's been a change to the in-game store, like, oh, you can now
Yeah,
buy
there's a bunch
this.
of WildStar news about like store updates and currency bullshit, and like we used to have a podcast called Strange Tales from Outer Space, for those of you that don't know. And during the end of that show, as it was winding down, literally this show just became cash shop updates. Like we'd wait a week, gather all the news we possibly could, and it would all just be, hey, there's this event that gets you more currency. Hey, spend currency on these cash shop updates. Hey, spend currency on these cash shop updates. Hey, there's an event that gets you more currency. So we got tired of that shit, so we don't do that shit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk to you about a game when it has something fun to talk about, not something dumb
Absolutely.
shit to talk about. If you want cash shop updates, just go to the fucking website and look. But that's not the end of Slash Yell, because we have another segment called Slash LFG, which is our wonderful segment about beta games, games that haven't released yet. God, the chat is so broken. Games that haven't released yet, games that are in alpha, games that are in beta. I like this part the most personally, because these always have the best news.
Oh yeah, this is where all of the, because this is people promoting their game. Oh wow, chat is broken. This is where all of the new news and content comes out, because normally once the game is out, it's just, you know, an update of like things that they've fixed or issues that they've had. But you know, LFG is
we've
like,
developed a new game engine, and I'm like, yeah, give it to me.
Exactly. Why don't you talk about the first piece of news, because you found this, and then I can talk about the rest, because I could go days on this stuff.
Nice, good. I'll take my headphones off. Crowfall Live is starting on June 27th. Crowfall, for those of you that don't know, is a wonderful new MMO that's in alpha currently, doing super well in the crowdfunding scene, and has just a lot of like dev logs and dev talks and stuff like that. Their VOD content is just top notch. They do it all the time, and it's always really good quality, and it's always really informative. They've started, or they will start, to do a live stream on the 27th, which, relative to the day of this recording, is tomorrow. And it's going to be a 12-hour Crowfall live event, which will begin at 8 a.m. Central Time. It's their obviously first ever live stream, which is really exciting. And the live stream, and this is exactly what they said, the live stream will feature a partnership announcement. Okay. Fucking
they're partnering with Microsoft.
Shut up, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Shh.
Special guest,
Steve Jobs.
Microsoft employees.
Microsoft employee. Generic nerd. They're going to have surprise guests, which might be a generic Microsoft nerd, but hopefully they're not partnering with Microsoft. They're going to do design reveals for new information about systems and content. So like maybe a new character, maybe some new like combat system mechanics, or anything. They do so much cool stuff. I can't even speculate on what they're going to be revealing. Live demonstrations from amazing artists, so like live concept art stuff, which I always find really cool. Adrock Draws does that on Twitch if you want to watch.
If you guys haven't watched them before, they do stream them designing characters and weapons and stuff like that. And it's fucking awesome, because it shows how much work that they actually put into like the acts of this character.
Yeah, and it's not just design art. Sometimes they do like 3D modeling live streams, which is super cool, because I love the technical side of that stuff. Even though I don't know anything about it, I just love the technical side of everything. So live demonstrations for art stuff, beat the dev playtests. So obviously it's currently in alpha, but you can buy your way in for exorbitant sums of money if you have that kind of money. So if you are currently in the playtests, you can play with the devs, which is fun. Murder of the Crows Live. Don't know what that means. More info on that soon. Future plans for Ace, hourly prizes and sales, which is cool, and even more. Woo! Oh my god, excuse me. So that's all really cool. I'm really excited for that. I don't think I'm going to be able to check it out for very long, because it's on a Monday. I have a lot of shit to do on Mondays, but I'm definitely going to watch the VOD if they keep it up. And yeah, good luck to them on their first live stream endeavors. If they need help setting it up, we are here at QueueTimes.com. We know how to live stream, despite the fact that everything on our live stream is currently broken, believe it or not. So hit us up. We'll hook you up with some live streaming tips. Okay, you said you wanted to talk for 3 years about the next step, so why don't you do that?
Okay, so this really gets me excited. So not only in Crowfall do they have a health section, a stamina / mana section for your casting abilities or your physical abilities, but there's going to have a third ticker system, which is their hunger system. I think they're going to try to work on changing the name of that. Instead of like hunger, they're going to change it to something a little bit different, because they already have a system called hunger. But what it is it's very similar to any of you who have played Minecraft, where you've got the little things of chicken across your health bar at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't eat, you start taking damage. And so you have to constantly be eating in the game and cooking and stuff
in
like
Minecraft,
that. So,
you can't sprint under a certain threshold, and then if you run out of food, you start taking damage until you die.
mm-hmm. So for this, they've given us a breakdown for this. On your pool, you're gonna everyone's going to be given a food pool of 100 points. Various things will take effect on that. Like for example, the new Minotaur character that they just showed off, because he has 2 stomachs, you're going to have to eat twice as much to, maybe not twice as much, but you're going to have to eat more to replenish a single point. Or there's going to be some characters that require less food based off of what you do, and then there's a whole cooking system which they haven't gotten into, where certain items will also replenish more. But here's some of the things. So for every 90 seconds of out of combat time
Right.
causes 1 point of decay
to your food.
We're talking about the food section.
Right.
Every 30 seconds of in-game causes 1 point
in
of decay.
combat time.
Yes.
So every 90 seconds of out of combat time is -1. Every 30 seconds of in combat time is -1.
Mm-hmm. Every 200 stamina used also causes 1 point of decay. Every 10,000 health damage taken also causes 1 point of decay. And every 5 jumps causes 1 point of decay, which is important because I know a lot of people that just spam the jump button everywhere and run around, and that's going to change.
That's going to fuck you.
Yeah,
right
exactly. So those people that are just like jump, they're just all of a sudden going to be
collapse onto the ground and just, I need food. Oh god.
Well, and this is where it gets into it. This is while we know what the pool is at, we know what causes it to decay, but now they've also given us the information of what status effects that we'll be taking. So if you have over 70%, everything is normal as the character feels satisfied. Less than 70%, natural health and mana regeneration turns off, which that's a huge deal.
That's for only losing 30 points?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's insane.
Less than 30% stamina regeneration turns off and players can no longer sprint.
Wow.
Yep. So now at 30%, you've got no health, no mana, and no stamina regeneration. So that's huge. And then less than 10%, the players take damage every 5 seconds until they hit 20% health. This will not kill you, but you will be pretty much stuck at 20% health the whole entire time.
That's insane. So at 45 minutes, you can stand there for 45 minutes and then you'll be under 70%. So like if you're at full food, you're at 100% perfect food, and you're only out of combat, it'll take you 45 minutes to drop to 70%. And then if you jump if you jump 5 times, then you lose 1 point, and now your health and stamina regen don't work. So you only have 45 minutes.
Yep.
And 15 minutes of combat. Only 15 minutes of combat.
Again, that's without eating. And we don't know how much...
And that's just full food.
Yeah. And we don't know how much food will... we don't know if like a piece of toast is going to put you up at 100%. So we don't know how this affects us.
Yeah.
And
or like the cost for food. We don't know how much.
Yeah, we don't know the cost for food. We don't know how much it restores us. We also don't know how much time it takes. Because I think we're used to normal MMOs where you like sit down and then you eat a piece of bread and your character's like...
Yeah, there's like an animation. You can't attack during it.
Yeah, it's very possible that this could just be like almost like a health potion where it's just like, oh, I took it. Hey, we don't know. We don't have this
and your food goes up automatically. So
exactly.
we don't know how that's going to be implemented. But judging by the rest of this game, I think it's going to err towards the more punishing side of things, where like if you don't eat up before the match, you're not going to be able to eat up during the thing that you're doing.
Yep.
Which like you'll have to disengage. You'll have to find a safe place. You'll have to sit down and eat, and then you'll have to run back in. Which, honestly, I think I'd prefer it. I haven't played the game yet. Indigo and I have been talking about whether or not we're going to buy into the alpha, and we might, but we're not 100% sure yet. But I think I'm erring towards the more punishing side of this thing.
Oh, for sure. Well, and here's a direct quote from them about this. Each player will also have a new hidden stat called substance, which is a multiplier of how much value a piece of food is worth when you eat it. Raising this stat will happen via one or more survival related skills in the future. And as noted above, some archetypes will be better or worse at that at than others. Wow, sorry. Example: a carrot or an apple converted to 8 food value instead of the normal 5 because a player has trained a survival skill that modifies this
Oh, see,
substance
that kind
level.
of gives us a little more information about like per food how
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. So an
Or how
apple will give
much.
you 5 points. And
Yeah,
these are just
yeah.
generic
These might be
numbers.
numbers out of somebody's ass, but
Hmm.
I don't know. That
But
kind
they're
of
saying, yeah, okay. So because you've leveled a survival skill that turns your substance level up, you will now have, your 5 apple will actually turn into 8
I
food
think it's
instead of
substance.
substance. Sorry.
But yeah, I'm excited to see this in effect, and this is like really interesting too because a lot of the gameplay here is like siege based, like destroy the wall, get into the castle, kill the thing, you know. So it's kind of like it adds like a certain level of realism to that. Like how
Hmm.
long could you really man a ballista or a catapult before you have to like take a break and eat, you know?
Hmm. Well, and their whole thing is, if you didn't know, crowfall. It's referring to the fact that everyone there are crows, and that's kind of like the name for their soul. And so, while your crow is immortal, your body is not.
Right.
So, the vessel, I believe, as they say, the vessel that you are currently dealing with is not immortal, and so you have to keep feeding it and constantly working on it. And I like the additional level of quote unquote realism that it adds. Like, I don't want to say it's realism because, I mean, you
No, I
aren't
get what you're saying.
fighting for 15 minutes and then you're like,
Oh, boy, I'm dying because I'm so hungry, boy.
yeah.
No, I get it, but there's another interesting point in chat, and I'm going to bring it up because people in VODland can't see our chat. There are also weather effects in Crowfall, so I wonder if
Yes.
that's going to affect like food consumption,
Oh, I'm sure. Like,
or
if
not
you're
food
in a
consumption, but food like
yeah,
degradation.
if you're in a colder area,
Yeah.
you have to eat more often, or
Yeah.
like it goes away. I'm sure. I,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I mean, don't quote me on
Yeah.
it, but
I mean,
I
we're
wouldn't
not
doubt it.
sure, but we hope. I think is what you're trying to say.
Mhm.
That would be an interesting interaction.
I mean, I love this whole entire idea of this food, and it's so detailed. Something that they just said recently, I also wanted to talk about, is they're moving away from the smaller level stuff. So not smaller level, they're moving away from the what they call the um. No, we did not do this already.
We did do that already.
No, we didn't.
We did.
No, we didn't, because it came out on Tuesday. So no, we did not. So sorry, we're having a conversation about the next piece of news, which we'll just skip to. It's fine. So the next piece is, we did talk about
That was so dumb.
what
Nothing. Just keep going.
last I believe it was last week or the week before, we talked about the Mithradon, which is Myrmidon, which is the newest class that was released. Well, before it was released, all the information that we were given on it was the fact that it is a Minotaur, and that its weapons will be an axe.
Or a mace.
That was or a mace. Those were the only information. We also got a visual of it, but now they're actually going to start doing character breakdowns of each individual class, and give us more detail of what they were going and what their idea was behind it. And they decided that since the last 2 breakdowns that they did was of the 2 female characters, which is the druid and the, I can't remember now, but Inquisitor, maybe? Yeah. And so those were the 2 classes that they had just gone over. And so they said the next piece that they want to go over is the Myrmidon, which is the one that they had just announced.
Right.
So this is a quote of how they want the character to work. This is the kind of warrior that wades into melee, raging around, destroying everything. And when the dust settles, looks down and notices that its guts are spilled all over the battlefield. Raging should be powerful, but risky. Too close to the fire and you might fall over dead from your pains. So the whole thing behind this is that, yeah, the whole thing about this is it's got something called Berserker Frenzy. So they wanted to go away from the traditional, oh, this is a tank, he's got tons of health. They wanted him to go in there and just go crazy. So these are the information that we didn't have before that Krug is saying that we did have.
Shut up.
When he activates his berserker ability,
When he activates his bazooka,
when he activates it, he will heal all damage taken as it applies to him. So it's a 1-to-1 damage. So if you swing your sword and deal 10,000 damage to him, he heals 10,000 damage that moment. So it's basically as if he isn't taking damage, but he's healing all at once. When the berserker crashes, he will then take a large portion of the negative effects all at once. So that's huge. So
that's super cool. So he's just basically like not immune, but he's practically immune to damage for a while. And then at the end of his immunity, he just takes most of it all at once.
Yep.
That's super cool.
Yep. And that's what they're talking about, him raging into battle, killing everything and destroying everything. But then as everything calms down, aka his berserker ability crashes, he notices that he's also dead. And so this is really, really cool. He's also, when he rages, he's going to get a speed buff. So, and this is from them. So it feels like a raging bull running into combat, going with the whole Minotaur theme and idea behind it. Do you now see that it's different information?
I do see that it's different information. I stand corrected.
Yeah. This is really, really cool. And this is a lot of information that they've decided to give us that is behind the idea of what they wanted and the direction that they're pushing. Again, they don't have the actual numbers of how everything's going to be doing because they haven't started working on the MMO part of the game. And that's what they've been saying. They're like, hey guys, like you guys been seeing the fighting, you've seen our combat, you've been seeing our characters, but now we're going to start introducing stuff that doesn't affect that, like the hunger stuff, like the food and stuff like that they're talking about earlier.
Yeah, like larger systems that affect the entire game.
Exactly. It's not going to be a huge effect in the PvP arena because I'm pretty sure in the PvP arena it's not going to, like, you're going to be playing a 15-minute match and like, hold on everyone, we got to eat.
It'll be cool for sieges for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I think huge sieges will be really interesting because you're going to have like groups of people like bowing out at different times to go eat so that they're not like at 20% health the whole time. But yeah, this is really, really cool. And they haven't given us the information of how much of the negative effects the Berserker is going to get, but they just said most of it.
Yeah. So basically, if you would have died, if you hadn't been berserking, you would probably die after you stop.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. So we'll see.
And for those of you that were interested in the kind of like live streamy buildy of 3D model-y type thing that we discussed a little bit earlier, if you go into the show notes and click on the Myrmidon link, what is it called? It's Meet the Myrmidon in our show notes. You can see them designing his axe.
Yeah, it's a video of it,
which is what I've been watching out of the corner of my eye this whole time. No offense, Indigo, but it's super cool.
No, hell no, none taken. That I watched that video. I want to say like 5 times.
Yeah, I mean, I skipped through it because it's an hour. Oh, this is an hour.
It's not.
This is 5 minutes long.
Yeah,
it's 5 minutes long.
Yeah, they sped it up. I mean, it doesn't actually take them 5 minutes to make this, but
this is days. I would imagine.
Oh yeah, probably, absolutely. And I like chat. MMO part is something that is always added at the end since it's not a core mechanic as such.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I think they try. I'm not going to defend them. I mean that statement's kind of out there, ready for the picking. But I get what they're coming from. That they were building the characters, they're building the archetypes for each type of character, and then they're building. I think the PvP world is so that they could test each of the classes to see how they perform. So we'll see. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Also, chat's talking about gimme cooking and baking and making beer, wine, liquor. There is supposedly a very, very in-depth crafting system, which I believe they're going to be going over fairly soon because the whole hunger and food and everything going like that, that is going to reflect your cooking status and being able to
Right.
cook and
Make food that increases your food meter by more than 5 per piece.
yeah. Oh my God. Could you imagine sitting there having to eat like
100 apples, which is probably what I would end up doing if I didn't have people in my group that cooked for me, because I've never got into cooking in an MMO. I just cannot, for whatever reason, I cannot give a fuck. It's impossible for me to give it.
By the way, you only have to eat 20 apples. Just
That's a lot of apples. Have you ever tried to eat more than 2 apples? Apples are filling as hell.
No, I had a peach though. That was
I saw. You even made a gross sound, which I will edit in right here. If I remember.
You probably won't.
I do most of the time.
That being said, that's the end of our news this week. No. I'm so sorry.
You're super wrong about that.
Wow. You know what? It's because there was a note in there that
that didn't have anything on it, which I just deleted.
Yep.
Because I'm super helpful.
All right. So the last piece of news is actually going to be about WoW Legion, because there's actually news about Legion.
What?
Yeah. This one, take it as you want. I don't like this change.
No, I don't either.
Krug might also. No, okay.
Don't like it.
So they've decided that they're actually going to cut the maximum scroll distance away from your character by half. That's a lot.
Yeah. I usually am all the way out.
Mm-hmm.
Or most of the way out. Like, I'm definitely further than half. That's far.
Yeah. We'll see, and I think that has to do with the fact that they've changed the background distance and how much you can see and how in depth that is. So I think maybe that has something to do with it. But
and I don't know. I'm not even gonna talk about it. It's bad. It's gonna get changed back. $10.
Well, and they even say first sentence, they say this is one of these changes
that we'll realize will be immediately unpopular, or I'm sorry, intensely unpopular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dicks.
Yeah.
Fuck yourselves.
I don't know.
I'm okay with it.
That being said, the next piece of news is actually a little guide for those people who are playing Legion that want to get prepared for Legion and when it comes out, and be ready for all of the new content and pieces like that. So I'm just going to go over a couple of them. One of them is really important, is completing your legendary ring quest. So there's a request out there for you to get a legendary ring that is specifically made for your class. Doing that before Legion comes out is huge, because once Legion comes out, they've said that people with the legendary ring will actually be able to defeat people much easier than those who don't have the ring. It also is going to disappear once Legion happens.
Well, the ability to get it is going to disappear.
Yes, not the ring itself.
Right.
Yes, the quest line is going to disappear.
Right.
Getting your profession ready, making sure that you're up to level with your profession, making sure that you're going to be able to go into the zone for the first time and collect the things that you need to collect, or mine the things that you need to mine once you get there, so that your levels actually go up with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's super important for that. Collecting the transmog items, because the transmog system is going to change. It's still going to exist. It's just not going. It's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, it's moving to like a wardrobe system.
Yeah, and so collecting those transmog items now before once Legion comes in, so that a lot of items are going to change looks, and not only change looks, but they're also going to change availability. Amass your gold, because right now gold is like the easiest freaking thing to get. And supposedly they're working on changes and fixes to retrofit that. And so be kind of smart to do that. One other thing I didn't write in notes, which is obtain your Grove Warden mount, which is a moose. And it is a kind of a difficult quest to go through and get. And it's hard to get. And they're actually going to get rid of it. So
we have a QueueTimes contributor whose name is Mary Moose.
This is very true. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
That's a small world there. Maybe they put it in there for him. He is the mayor, so
yeah, exactly.
He does deserve his own mount.
So that's kind of like, there's more to that. There he is.
In chat, you rang. Hi, Moose.
So those are things that you guys should be preparing and getting ready for before Legion. Yeah, and as we know, we have exactly. Let's see how much time we have,
I
guys.
hate you
Okay,
so
it's
much.
very important to get this 100%. 64 days, 6 hours, 5 minutes, and 24, 23,
Thanks
22,
for checking out Slash
25,
Yell, everybody. We will see you all next week at
18,
3
17,
p.m. PST
16,
for Quarter Up. You're super distracting, Indigo. 3
13.
p.m. PST for Quarter Up, 5 p.m. PST for Slash Yell. We do an hour of some random game stream in between. Adrock, our third host, he's a fucking cool dude. He's going to be here next week finally. So come back and check out his, I don't know what to call his personality.
He's
Fucked up.
not as swell as Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
You mean swole?
Swell, whatever.
He's not as
Maybe he's
swell.
maybe he's like swollen. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'd give him that. Yes, thank you for checking out the show. We will see you all next time. Indigo, where can people find your beautiful face on the internet?
If you guys want to talk to me on Twitter, the best way to go about it is IndigoQT. If you want to get a hold of Krugor and myself on Twitter at the same time, you can hit us up on QueueTimes. That's _QueueTimes. And if you want to email me, you can email me at indigo@QueueTimes.com. That's QueueTimes.com. And hit me up there if you liked what you saw. If you didn't like what you saw, you got a great idea, or you want to come join QueueTimes and write for us, or be on the show, or whatever the deal is. Just let us know. Shoot me an email.
We like
new
people.
Love guests.
Whenever we have
love,
guests,
love.
I'm allowed to sit out and just run the stream so I can focus on pushing buttons so I don't fuck stuff up like I did today.
I mean, he's still going to.
I'm
fuck
still
things
going
up.
to fuck a couple of things up, like maybe like 8 or 12 or 56, like not that many. I'm Krug. You can find me at KrugQT on Twitter. You can also email me. My email address is krug@QueueTimes.com. You can also contact me and Indigo and Adrock at the same time via email if that's what you want to do, by emailing yell@QueueTimes.com. And if you want to get a hold of my mother, you can dial 824-665.
I was going to say, if this is someone's real number on accident, you're going to be fucking
going to jail. No, that is not someone's real number. I don't even know what that area code goes to. Thanks for checking out the show.
Hey guys, don't forget 64 days, 6 hours, 3 minutes, and 10, 9, 8,
Mwah.
7. See you guys on the forums. 4, 3, 2, 1. 64 days, 6 hours, 2 minutes.